In this age of AI, it feels like we're all just chasing the fastest answer, right? The quickest prompt. But what if the real power isn't in getting a machine to spit something out, but in how we actually fire up our own minds? Let's dig into that. And this quote right here, it just nails the problem. We've been sold this idea that AI is all about efficiency, but there's a really dangerous trend popping up. See, we're not just offloading tasks anymore, we're actually outsourcing our thinking. And that's a huge misuse of this incredible technology that, honestly, just holds us back. So, this all leads to a pretty uncomfortable question, doesn't it? By letting AI do all the heavy intellectual lifting for us, are we actively choosing to get dumber, right at the exact moment we have the tools to get smarter than ever before? It's a really unsettling thought, but one we've got to face. Now, let's be super clear about something. This isn't about AI being bad. The technology itself isn't the problem. It's all about how we decide to use it. The brilliance of AI is that it just shatters all these old barriers to knowledge. The moronic part, that's on us. If we, with this amazing tool in our hands, choose to let our own brains go soft. So what it really boils down to is a choice between two totally different mindsets. Do we treat AI like a replacement for our brain? Just passive automation? Or do we treat it like a gym for our mind? An active partner that pushes us to be better. One path leads to laziness, the other to a whole new level of thinking. But here's the thing, this isn't just about you or me getting a little lazy with our thinking. It's actually blowing up into a massive systemic crisis. We're talking about an uncontrolled narrative where the very idea of a shared reality is starting to fray at the edges. We're getting trapped in what the source material calls the dark loop, and it goes like this. First, an AI generates content from bad, flawed data. Then a human gives it a quick, superficial look over. But then, and this is the scary part, that poisoned synthetic data gets fed right back into the system to train the next AI. And the loop just keeps going. The result? Our entire collective knowledge base gets polluted, and our shared sense of what's real just starts to fall apart. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine all your unique, hard-won knowledge and experience. Right now, it might be like this big, tangled mess of wires. It's full of potential, sure, but when it's all unstructured and you don't really own it, it becomes a serious liability in the age of AI. All that chaotic knowledge can be easily scraped, misunderstood, and just lost in all the noise. And look, in this new AI-first world where answers are just synthesized on the spot, the stakes are so much higher. If you don't structure and own your expertise, you completely lose control of your own narrative. A machine will just scrape together a story about you from digital junk, and guess what? That summary becomes the new reality. Okay, so that's the scary part. What's the way out of this mess? Well, the source material calls it productization, and it's not just a nice idea. They argue it's an actual survival strategy for protecting your unique intelligence in this new world. So what on earth does that even mean, productization? Well, it's a call to action. It's about you consciously taking your unique insights, your life experiences, your expertise, and packaging it all into a structured, machine-readable asset that you own and you control. And okay, how do you even measure the value of something like that? We can actually use a framework that search engines like Google already use all the time, EEAT. It stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. These are the exact signals that both people and AIs look for to figure out if something's credible. They're the building blocks of valuable intelligence. You know how people always say data is the new oil? Well, think of this structured, verifiable EEAT as the new digital gold. In an economy that's just getting flooded with AI-generated noise, real human authority is becoming incredibly rare and valuable. It's the premium fuel that these intelligent systems desperately need. The more noise there is, the more your signal is worth. All right, so we get the what, but the big question is how. How do we actually do this? Well, it takes a pretty fundamental shift in our mindset. It's about becoming what the source calls a productized person. The whole shift is about moving from just being AI-enabled to becoming truly AI-native. See, being enabled is tactical. It's just using AI to do the old stuff a little faster. But being native, that's strategic. It means redesigning your entire approach to how you create and share value in a world that thinks AI first. So this means we have to stop thinking about just optimizing one little task at a time and start architecting an entire system for our intelligence. You're not just, writing a blog post. You're building a whole interconnected knowledge base that machines can actually understand and that people can really trust. And this isn't just some abstract idea, okay? It's a real practical process. Now, this checklist is pretty detailed, so feel free to pause the screen if you want to really dig in, but just notice the key parts. It all starts with identity and positioning, figuring out your unique value. Then it moves into structuring your assets and mapping them directly to your experience, your expertise, and your authority. It's a real framework for turning that tangled mess of knowledge into a tangible asset. So what's the big picture here? What does this all add up to? In this new AI economy, value isn't just about what you do anymore. It's about what you uniquely know. The new currency is your structured intelligence. It really comes down to these three things. First, productized people. They're the new economic power players, getting value from their structured knowledge, not just their time. Second, the intelligent data they create is the literal lifeblood that AI needs to get better. And maybe most important of all, your unique point of view, the one that comes from your actual lived experience. That is the one thing AI can never, ever truly replicate. The source material leaves us with this final, urgent call to action. Your mind is a marketplace. If you don't build the stall, someone else will sell your goods. In the AI era, if you don't take ownership of your expertise, believe me, someone or something else will. So, I'm going to leave you with one last question to chew on. It's not just about your IQ anymore. The real measure of success is your productized IQ. What is the structured, ownable, and valuable version of your unique intelligence? It's time to figure that out. Thanks for watching.